Hello, good evening. It's been a while since I did a video, what's happened is, right, for the last 2 weeks or so, or months, the last between now and last month or so, I've been, well, first, right, my garden was a bit of a mess, as you can see, because I have sent some pictures about it, and then I'm trying to sort of like create a new garden. Luckily, it's been successful, because I had to buy some topsoil, and to let you know about the soil is, right, is when you put it down first, right, you have to sort of rake it all out first, which makes sure it's level, and then if you want to make then to whether you can either buy you can buy rolls of garden turf. Not the fake types, no, we've got artificial. But you can buy actual turf that's rolled, and you can just lay it down like that, right? But it comes in rolls, and so or you can buy grasses and do it yourself, which takes a while. So for the last month or so, about a month or two, I've been doing a lot of woodwork, as you can see, as you can tell what I've made. Like, I made a bench, and what I did was with that, I used planks of wood, and you can buy planks, right, from anywhere, right, if you can find, like in Morecambe where I live, there's a town called Heysham, which is next town from here, and there's a factory called Bay Pallets, unfortunately, and they do sell them there. You can look in wherever you live and find out if they have, and if you can't, you can buy them off like eBay or Amazon. But it depends how much you want to spend with it, to be honest. So the pallets I bought were about £7.50 each, so it cost about £50 in total, right? Even for delivery, so that was okay. And this was about over a month ago now, anyway. So at the time when I did that, so I used one to make a bench. I had some wood left over anyway, so it's like some more. So I use that for the legs, and also for the side, right. Well, it's not quite completely finished yet because I've got to do the armrest, but I was going to either do that or have a table attached to it as well. So I'm planning to do that at some point next year, and I'm gonna making another one as well. I've got the wood for it anyway to make. So now that's all done. Well, not quite finished yet anyway. And then I've also done a wooden plan. That's not quite finished at the moment, right? But I've got some ideas. But my support, right, said to me about. So I come with an idea. Instead of having it as a wooden planter, right, is where you put just the base, right. I think I might just make some more squares, and then do it that way at least. So then what I'm gonna do then, by the time that I have some more of those squares, right, to go around, like the frame of it as well. I mean the frame of the wooden planter. Then what I'll do then, at the moment, right, because of the time of month we live in, I've been making it's like a wardrobe. You can, I think you can just walk in, but there's a lot more work to do in my home anyway. So I'm making a wardrobe. It's quite large though, but I need to like change my bedroom round. So that's one thing, and also I bought some more wood just last week from Wicks, and I used a lot of that, right, to make some it's like a shoe rack, to be honest. But you can make loads of them. You can make four large ones, I think it is, and then 4 small ones. So you get like 8 in total. More, or you can have like between 8 to 16, depends how big. It depends what you want to make with it, really. But for me personally, I had to make them into a shoe rack, and I haven't taken any pictures yet, right? But I do have some pictures that I can show you at the moment. So at the moment, right now, going back to saying about the wardrobe, I've used a lot of the wood right there left over from the pallets that I had. So that went a long way, because I wish it did. And excuse me. So so the month now, I need to buy some more wood next week, hopefully, if not right at some point in the near future, just to finish it off. And that's about it really. But overall speaking, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna tell you about myself, right? So you can understand what. Originally I'm from Bradford. I moved to Morecambe when I was I think I was about 7. I think when I moved to Morecambe in the northwest on the coast. So when I first moved to Morecambe, I before I moved to Morecambe, I went to 2 schools in Bradford. I can't remember them, but I know one of them. But I was only there until I was about 6 or 7. And then when I moved to Morecambe, I went to 2 other schools. I went to Western Primary School and then Morecambe Road. And well, unfortunately, when I was 7, I was diagnosed with autism. And I have learning difficulties when I was younger. I learned to control it as I got older, but at the time, so my mum had to help me to find a school to go to, and in North Yorkshire. I won't say the name of the school anyway, because for personal reasons. But what I can say is, at the time, back in the 90s, from when I left in 1999, that it did a lot of help for me. So because if I didn't go to that school, I don't know where I'd be. But anyway, I was there for 5 years, and I did a lot of things, like I went on holidays, barbecues, and sports days, and I even did actual athletics. And I was very good at it. Unfortunately, I lost all my medals eventually, which is a bit of a shame, really. But I never forget what I've achieved. So as I got older, right, I did lots of runs. Right, I went to Edinburgh. I lost count now. So I went to Edinburgh, did a run called the Great Winter Run. It's a 3-mile run, I think it is, if I can remember correctly. It's been a while since I've done a run now, due to circumstances. We've changed up in the northwest. So I did lots of things, like I did the Duke Edinburgh Award, Prince's Trust. I did a 12-week course. I can't remember how well, but I was sort of in me late 20s or something. I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I know I did it at the time, because I have the T-shirt to prove it, because it says Morecambe and Lancaster fire station, I think it is, something like that. So I did that for 12 weeks, the Prince's Trust, and also and one of my favourite things I ever did, right, and I'm proud of this to this day, but it's been just over 10 years, where I went to London and I was a games maker for the London 2012 Olympic Games. And I wasn't at the Olympic Games, right? Because I was there before. I was a pre-games volunteer, unfortunately. But I still enjoyed. I had a good time. A great experience. Wonderful people who I met from all sorts of background. And we had spoken to different people when I was over there. When I was there for I think it was about 5 days. I think I was there for 5-6 days. So that's right. Yeah, I was down there. I went down on the Monday or Tuesday. I think, or I can't remember. But I know I came back on the Saturday. In the afternoon. Because I was doing my part, and that was about it. My job was done. My job my volunteer work that I did. I was a transport team member, so. But that's one thing I did. So far, right, I haven't done very much, right, but I have been busy quite, after I've just experienced, before I told you about myself. As you can tell, sometimes I find it hard to get my words out quickly, right, because I tend to stutter sometimes. And things about myself, like I am a Taurus. I'm 41, right? I think there's a lot of things, right? Like I like read paranormal programs. I even seen a ghost once on a part of a leg. At an old friend of mine's place one time, because an old friend of mine lived in a place right not far from here called it's on the way. I can't remember what it's called now, the place, but I remember that I used to go there every now and again at a time, and because the house where the old friend used to live at, right, it was built in the 1600s, 1672, I think it was. I'm not too sure exactly. So that it was great, nice to be there as well. Just to have a few chats and a drink at the time, and so. And also, I like a lot of programs. I'm sorry if I'm speaking right out of my terms. It's that I do tend to find it hard to talk. I know what to say. Sometimes see me when I talk. Sometimes I do tend to stutter. Not all the time, just most of the time I do. So, I'm just trying to get everything in. So it's it's like an introduction anyway, more or less, I think. I like meal programs like The Simpsons, Family Guy, and all that. So, but mainly speaking, I like, and also I have done karate as well. I had a break over 7 years ago back since I did my last grade. I'd be interested to know, what colour about you were at when you first started, and how far you get to, and just keep on going. And also I like music. I like the mantra right now. Like 7 months ago back, right, on the 14th or 12th of April this year, I started to play ukulele. And the moment, right, I've had a break for it because I've been so busy with college and that, right, and also trying to get things in order, right, because the moment I sorted out my garden. It was a mess, right, because over a while back, right, when eventually and a landlord decided to chuck all my stuff right and left a big mess right under my window, which caused a lot of problems right from next door at the time. and it wasn't my fault really, but I was taking the blame for it anyway, but it wasn't my fault really. So luckily that problem got sorted out, so I had to have my support tell me out to sort me out to create a new garden. And this was my idea anyway. I am creative in lots of ways. Like I can sketch cartoons. I'm not really a cartoonist, right? I don't know how to actually draw, but I can. Excuse me. So I'm not really a cartoonist, right? But I can draw and sketch cartoons off the internet. You know, just for just keep me busy and I try something to learn. And I can't show any of my artwork right stuff right because one, if I did that try it'd be copyrighted. I don't want to get me in trouble. But I have done a lot of artwork a while back, which is about a long time ago. So I can sketch, write cartoons off the internet. I can you know, I can bake and I try, but I suppose that most everyone in this world can bake, I suppose. And a lot of things, but and also like for example, like when I was younger, I actually taught myself how to ride a bike, and the one main thing like to just advise, if you ride a bike, right, take your time with it, right. Like for me, right, it was about balance. It took about 3-4 days to get right, I think it was, and then once I got to be balanced right, I just kept riding. I had quite a lot of accidents, which you do on a bike because it is, you know, hazard prone. You know, you might fall off in your first ride, but it's just about getting back on the bike anyway, just to keep pedaling. So that's all I can say for the time. I know it's been just over 17 minutes, but anyway, this is about me, like an introduction. If you'd like to know about about anything I mentioned, like the London 12 Olympic Games, like the Prince's Trust, Magic Olympic Award, I'm happy to answer your messages, and hit my subscribe button, and on the more track, right. So, and before I go, this evening I've been starting back now with my ukulele music, right, which I've been learning since for a while now. But before and after before I stopped doing work, I was doing other things. But now I'm getting back into my ukulele, and so tomorrow I'm gonna do some more ukulele anyway to get back into it again, and I'll keep all you know, informed about what I've been learning and all that, like I've done before. So until tomorrow, I will say good night, and I will see you all then.